My name is Carla McClafferty. You don't know that on any given day, your life is going to change forever. I had one of those days on Wednesday before Thanksgiving in 1988. At the time, I was a busy wife and stay-at-home mom. I had a son, Ryan, that was 7. My daughter, Brittany, was 3, and my son, Corey, was 14 months old. When my parents came to the house, I was hosting Thanksgiving that year. They took the children outside to play. And I heard my youngest son, Corey, who was 14 months old, cry. And I knew it was a cry that he was hurt. And so when my mother brought him in, he reached for me and he passed out as soon as he got into my arms. He had fallen off the swing in the backyard. And so when we got to the hospital, we did CT scans, and because I'm a radiologic technologist, I was able to see for myself that his brain was swelling. And that evening at 10:50, I was holding Corey in my arms and was looking at him, and his face was blotchy. And I opened his eyes, and his eyes were dilated, his pupils were dilated. And his breathing became labored, and then he stopped breathing completely in my arms. And they put a respirator on him, and all through the night, his condition deteriorated. The next morning, they did another CT scan, and the doctor said, if the swelling is worse when we see this scan, I'm afraid we're going to lose him. So when I saw the scans, and they were clearly worse, the swelling was worse, he said, I don't think that anybody can survive at this point. And so I said, does he have days or hours? And he said, hours. So I held my son as he slipped into eternity, all the while praying for a miracle. So I had a very difficult time, and I struggled and I questioned. But it was almost as like Psalm 14, when I had this image really of me in a deep pit filled with just slime, and it was like I was in that pit. And at the same time, I knew that God was reaching down into that pit, reaching for me and saying, just hold on to me. And so one day when my rage was at its height, and I poured everything out to the Lord, my rage out to the Lord about everything. And finally, I symbolically reached out for the Lord and took his hand, and he pulled me up out of that pit. I know that there are people that struggle with lots of different things, but what I do know is that God is able to bring them out. God is also reaching out to each one. In Jesus, there's hope for heaven. And one day when I get there, I hope to see Jesus first. And I really hope that he lets me hold Corey right after that, because I know he's there.